Hi, it's Diana. And I wanted to, now my dog's going to eat and make noise. That's what he does. I wanted to do this video because I know there's so much conflicting information out there. And believe me, not that I'm telling you what to do or what's right. I'm not going to do that, thank God. But I'm going to tell you my take on it, and this might really help. So if you're somebody who's trying to follow a plan, or, in January, a lot of people start diets, meal plans, challenges, things like that. And it's, you're going through it and you may go, oh, this seems like, why are they saying this? So I don't quite understand. Like, is this right? Is this wrong eating this? So-and-so says that I shouldn't have things like this. That other diet says that these things are okay. And there's so much conflicting information out there, so much. And also, there's always these different diets telling you what you should eat and what's really healthy and what's not, right? Because there's the Paleo, there's the Ketogenic, or however you say that. There's veganism, of course, there's vegetarian. Then, there's so many different things. The whole 30 days or whatever, eating whole foods. And then within them, they have their kind of rules, what they believe to be true, so my take on that is, and people get really confused. So they're following something and then they see something that's been contradicted by someone else or some other thing that they had tried before. And then it's all these questions like, well, what if this? What if that? Well, that doesn't make sense, because then why can't I have this and why can't I have that? And they get so confused and so caught up in it that they're trying to eat healthy, but they're getting caught up in the details, right? I mean, maybe that's happened too. Do you get caught up in like all these little details and not understanding and trying to figure out what exactly is right? Well, I don't understand. Is this right? Is this wrong? Should I eat this? Should I not eat that? The thing is, we need to rely a little more on ourselves and common sense. And what that means is, you probably know, like, there's underlying things, right? There's underlying things that will always be true. Eat more greens, eat more vegetables, more good fruits, right? But then, of course, there's the dried fruits. Then, well, what fruits are high in sugar? Like bananas. Should I eat bananas? Should I not eat bananas? What about agave? What about maple syrup? Should I even have honey, right? And it's like, oh my God, you guys. Like, seriously, it's about focusing on the bigger things. The little minor details, like, should I have agave? Should I have honey? Should I have maple syrup? Which is better? How much of each? Okay, well, those are sweeteners. Those are a little tiny bit, unless you're trying to get them out of sweeteners altogether, which is totally fine for a period of time. You may say, I want to get off all kinds of sugars, right? So then, of course, those are fine. Then you don't have any. But if that's not part of your plan or what you want to maintain, right? You just want to like way to cut back and really be conscious, then a little bit. It doesn't matter, like a little bit of agave, like a half a teaspoon twice a day or something, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to cause 10 pounds. It's not going to screw up your blood sugar levels if you are eating a huge amount of high fiber foods, good, healthy, whole foods, not packaged, not processed, not from a bottle, right? So we're talking the vegetables, the greens that you buy at grocery stores. And of course, organic is better. It is better. And it's worth the price. Now, sometimes buying every single thing organic is, yes, especially in the wintertime, can get a little crazy. So you can Google and look up like the Dirty Dozen or something, foods that you should buy, organic foods that you should. And then that can be a guideline, right? Like avocados are fine. You don't need to buy those organic. That's just a thing. I like my organic celery. I still like to buy organic tomatoes. I still like to buy organic bell peppers. So, but you got to do the best that you can do. Don't get caught up in the tiny, tiny little details. And if a plan seems to have something that they say something that's either contradicting or seems really kind of crazy, then I want you to kind of use your common sense and go, okay, is it a whole food? Is it a vegetable? Is it a plant-based food? Then it's probably safe. Except, of course, if you're talking about like white potatoes or something, don't eat huge amounts of white potatoes. They're so high in starch. So but if it's like they're saying this type of almond milk is good, or this bottled sauce is okay, but this other plan says don't have anything from a bottle. Here's the thing. A little bit isn't going to kill you. right? You want to get in good habits of things that you can maintain for a long time. Unless you're doing a very strict, like I have a 14-day clean eating cleanse program. And believe me, it's just all whole foods too, but it's really light, right? So it's focusing more on raw foods, vegetables, salads, things like that, fruit like chia gel and all that. It's not a lot of cooked food in it. Now that, of course, is great for 2 weeks, right? Now, some people may be able to maintain it for longer, but realistically, especially in the winter, you want some warming foods, you want a little more cooked food, maybe some soups or something. But so that's great. But you don't expect someone to follow that type of diet and be on it like for the rest of their life, right? And so you got to find, if you're on a plan, if you're on a challenge, if you've taken there's so many books, Hot Detox, 30-day whole food plan or whatever now, don't get caught up in the details. The thing that you're doing is you're changing how you eat. You're bringing in a whole bunch of good foods. You're letting go of some of the processed, all of the processed, hopefully, the junk foods, the deep fried foods, the bottled sauces, the bottled salad dressings, and all those things, the sugar, right? So that is all going to go. Other than that, you guys, real whole foods. Now, meats. If you're somebody who believes more in eating meat, your body does better, you still want to consume animal products, meat that is, then grass-fed, whatever, organic, the best meat you can find. Because when you consume meat or dairy products that are just the cheap stuff you buy at the store, the problem is they often, in the States, it's really bad, contain hormones and antibiotics, just a whole bunch of whack of stuff that is not good for your body, and things that can mimic estrogen so that you get an overproduction of estrogen in your body, and that throws everything off. And same with dairy products. You don't want to consume a lot of dairy products. Now I say, as best as you can, cut out the dairy products. But there's the things like kefir, right? Like a fermented, yogurt. But then not every yogurt is good. And so sometimes we hear things like, oh, eat yogurt, it's good for your probiotics. Not all yogurt is good probiotics at all. Often it's full of sugar, it's full of food dyes, it's full of crap that actually can make things worse for you. And dairy is acidic. Meat and dairy products are acidic. And so they said, so your body, disease, bacteria, and all that grows in acidic environments. It cannot grow in a high alkaline environment. That is truth. That is science. So you want to eat less acidic foods. That doesn't mean you have to cut them all out. That's impossible. Just less of acidic foods, more alkaline foods, and you can Google to find out what those are. But of course, you're going to know they're your greens, they're your some of the superfoods, they're certain grains, certain seeds, vegetables. But don't get caught up in the details if you're following a plan. When you're following a plan, when you're trying to eat healthy, don't use the little details as an excuse to quit, right? That's the problem. You can't use the little details as an excuse to quit. So it can seem confusing. It can be overwhelming. It can be like, oh my God, I don't know who to believe. There's so much. Who do you believe? What do you believe? That's the problem. That's what you don't want to get caught up in. It's kind of like you got to sit back, read. So you take a little bit of everything, right? So thanks for the hearts, whoever's giving me those. I know I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really see who's watching, but you got to take a little bit of everything. So if you are somebody who still wants to eat meat, which on my programs I never tell someone they can't, then of course you're going to choose the good, grass-fed, organic, whatever. If you're somebody who still wants to consume certain like breads or stuff, I say if you can eat some of the wheat or whatever, very little. If you want to lose weight, I say get rid of them, because you continue to eat breads and pastries, you're not going to lose the weight. Sorry, you're probably going to keep gaining them. So you got to think realistically too. It's how much you want something. So if weight loss plus being healthy, which it should be, go together, right, is your goal, then you want to get rid of the heavy starches. You want to get rid of all the breads and pastries, even the gluten-free stuff, because has no nutrients. You want to eat foods that are higher in nutrients, which are your vegetables, which are your greens, which are, yams are really good, certain sweet potatoes, because you don't want to eat too many of those. Cut back on the heavy starches, eat more of the vegetables, the whole foods, eat more of the greens, get them in as much as you can. Most of the fruits are okay. Dried fruits, too high in sugar. Fruit juices, too high in sugar. Make all your own stuff, which can seem like a little overwhelming and a lot of stuff to do. But remember, it's a lifestyle change. Remember, it's for your health, which is the most important thing in the whole entire world, right? Is your health. And, oh my God, I'm babbling on here. So I made some of these bars here, things there with seeds and nuts and not a lot else in them. But so you could do things like that, or super easy, and you can keep them in the freezer. You don't need to buy special bars. You don't need to buy special packages. You just need to eat real whole foods, and there's so many recipes out there. But just try not to get caught up in the details and use a bit of common sense when you're thinking about, when you read something and it seems to not really make sense to you, really think, okay, what do I really think is true? And also what feels right for me? What feels right to me? So it's really about tapping into yourself, trusting yourself to know. Because that's a problem. Like a lot of people follow different diets and plans, and they're listening to someone else and they're doing exactly what that person says. So they're not ever learning what's right for them. So when you take that diet plan or that structure away and you're on your own to figure things out, then you haven't learned to trust what's right for you. You haven't learned to feel inside and go, how does this food feel to me? How does it feel when I eat like this in one day? How does it feel when I don't eat like that in a day? Oh, I ate like that yesterday and I don't feel good today, so I got to look at what I ate yesterday. So you see what I mean? It's more about trusting yourself, feeling your body, because every single person is different. What works for one woman, that's why there's so many diets and plans out there, because that worked really good for one person. So they're going to share it. They're going to spread it. They're going to say, this works, you guys. This works. When nothing else worked for me, this worked. But that was them. If I was to even try a paleo diet or a ketogenic diet, oh my God, I would feel like crap. Because my body doesn't process meat very well at all. It just doesn't. I'm meant to be way more higher vegetarian, but that's me. I know, and I figured out what works for me. That way, it's easy for me to maintain it. It's easy for me because I know what works for me. I know what doesn't work for me. I go off here and there, believe me. I go out for dinner. I go birthday celebrations, Christmas, all that stuff. I go off a little bit here and there and have the things that I love that may not make me feel that good. But the next day, I notice I'm feeling heavy. I'm feeling bloated. My skin's looking terrible. I'm looking tired. I got bags under my eyes. So back on track the next day. That's the way to work it. It's really about trusting yourself and learning what works. But there are definitely some main themes to what everybody is saying. And I want you to think about the main themes. Like, what are the main themes? And when people tell you something's the best, follow this exact plan, they will find proof. It's when we look for proof, you know that. If you're wanting to buy a red car, you're going to drive around the city and you're going to focus on red cars and you're going to see a lot of red cars. You're always able to find proof for what you want to prove to be right, but it doesn't mean it's right for everybody. So everything you read, there will always be proof to support it. There will always be proof to support that the other diet or the other thing is wrong or not right or not healthy. Don't get caught up on that. Because that's always. Look about it. It's the same as politics, really. Seriously, it's the same as politics. The whole food thing out there is like politics. Someone's going to tell you one thing. Someone's going to tell you another thing. Are they all telling the truth? Not for every single person. They're telling the truth for themselves. That's what worked for them. So I just want you guys to trust yourself, because you do know. But the overlying themes, of course, decrease your sugar, get rid of it, the white sugar, the white stuff. If you're going to have honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar, whatever, very little bits, that's fine. It's not going to throw you over the edge. If you're at a coffee shop, they don't have almond milk and you want to use a little bit of dairy in your coffee, that is fine. It's not going to gain, you're not going to gain 10 to 20 pounds. Don't use the light stuff. Don't use the sugar-free. Don't use the sugar-free syrups. Yeah, I guess that's what I want to say. I just had to get it out there, and I'm probably babbling now. But that's my 2 cents about everything like that. And if you agree, post underneath. Or if you have any other questions, please post in the comments below. If there is something, because there might be something that you go, well, okay, I've heard about this. I don't know if it's good. Like, what do you think about this product or about this? The vegan meats, there's something out there called Better Than Burger or Better Than Hamburger or something. Better Than Beef, I think it is. And it is, it looks like it's a vegan burger. It looks delicious. It has coconut milk oil in it, but I think I looked it up, and I believe that it has some fake flavorings and stuff in it, and it could be a lot of soy in it too. So really watch for that. The vegan meats and stuff, if you're going to transition, because they often have a lot of preservatives, a lot of junk. Remember, they're not real, right? So when something's not real, it's made to seem like something that's real. Try and stay away from that stuff and eat the real stuff. Tons of recipes for veggie burgers out there. Tons. All right. I hope that made some sense. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. And if anybody has any more suggestions for videos, comment below, put your suggestions. And if you have any questions, post them below too. And make sure you are part of my Facebook community, Women Creating Healthy Lives. That's for women over 40 who want to live a healthy, happy life. Great. Thanks. Bye-bye.